Hello again. The Department of Home Affairs, together with the United Nations High Commission for Refugees, collaborating on the voluntary repatriation of 49 refugees from the Democratic Republic of Congo. This is the first group of about 400 refugees who are in South Africa who now want to go back to the DRC. Refugees are returning to Kinshasa and the city of Lubumbashi. Place is considered safe for refugees to go back to. Well, for more on this process, let's talk to Magda Kucharek, Resettlement and Complementary Pathways Officer at the UNHCR. Magda, good afternoon. Thank you very much for your time. It sounds like this is a very good, positive collaboration that is happening, but this process has been in the works for some time. You've been planning this for some time.
Absolutely. Thank you very much for having me, Dan. Indeed, the UNHCR, the UN Refugee Agency, on Friday has facilitated the returns of 49 Congolese individuals that were refugees and asylum seekers. It was the first movement that has taken place in 2022 in very good close collaboration with the Department of Home Affairs, as well as the Congolese embassy here in South Africa.
Okay, what does it involve? I mean, I understand these are voluntary, this is a voluntary repatriation. So how does the process work? Do you and Home Affairs identify these refugees, or do they come and knock on your door and say, please repatriate us?
Indeed. So just to stress again the voluntary nature of this process that UNHCR is facilitating, our refugees and persons of concern who are residing in South Africa at this time voluntarily approach UNHCR to express their interest to return back to their countries of origin. Upon a further assessment, done by UNHCR to ensure eligibility for this program, specifically in terms of the, of course, voluntary nature of return, but also the areas of return. We need to ensure that the areas to which the refugees and asylum seekers are returning to are considered safe to return, such as you have already mentioned the case of our 49 individuals departing on Friday, who returned to Kinshasa as well as to Lubumbashi. After this assessment is complete, we then process their documentation in close collaboration with the Congolese embassy, who issues the travel documents, as well as with the Department of Home Affairs, who plays a crucial role in facilitating the immigration processes, as well as the cancellation of the refugee and asylum seeker permits.
Okay, one would imagine because of the pandemic, they are assisted as well in doing the COVID-19 test. But what other assistance do you afford them when they to go back home so they can return home with some level of dignity, having been away as refugees?
Absolutely. As you have mentioned, in times of COVID, all international passengers, travelers are subjected to a COVID test pre-departure. In the case of DRC returns, equally, they undertake a COVID test upon arrival. In addition to that, UNHCR DRC colleagues upon arrival, meet with the group and facilitate their onward journey, as well as ensuring that all the assistance that UNHCR is providing to them is handed over to them in the form of monetary assistance. And equally throughout this week, they monitor to see that that the individuals that have departed are settling in well in their homes. Personally, I can tell you I have been with the group for much of last week personally, and to see their happy faces, excitement, wanting to go back home after having spent so many years in South Africa, a place that equally they have called home, and now making the big decision and the big step of returning, understanding that it is now safe to go back. So they take this big decision to return and to start their lives afresh in the DRC.
Are these families? I mean, can you just share with us briefly? I mean, these 49 individuals, do they consist of families as well?
Absolutely. Out of the group of 49 individuals, 27 of them were in fact children. It was families that are ready to go back. For the most part, they have families in the DRC that would assist them as well. So they do have an anchor back home. They do have family links and ties who would be able to assist them with their reintegration, in addition to, of course, the assistance that UNHCR is providing to them.
Okay. The rest of them, I understand the total number is about 400 that you and the Department of Home Affairs are going to continue collaborating to make sure they go back home safely. When will the process of repatriating the rest happen?
Indeed. This was the first movement, a happy movement for us, a happy process that has ended up successfully in 2022. We are expecting further movements to also take place. We are operating out of the two large cities in South Africa where we have international airports with connections to the DRC. Both Cape Town and Johannesburg will be seeing further movements, further departures of the remaining refugees and asylum seekers in South Africa who have come forward and expressed their wish to return home.
Okay, finally,
we will be expecting that in the coming months.
Okay, thank you. Finally, Magdalena, refugees from other countries, this is just a group from the DRC. Are there other refugees from other African countries who are knocking on your doors to voluntarily request repatriation, or is it only Congolese at this stage?
For the most part, it is the Congolese refugees who are looking to return at this moment. We have had individual cases of other nationalities equally coming and expressing their interest to return. However, again, as mentioned, this process is a voluntary process. We do ensure that everybody who comes forward makes this decision on their own. It's a matter of personal choice. However, we as UNHCR need to ensure that whoever is returning to areas who are considered safe to return.
Thank you very much. That's Magda Kucharek. She's, of course, a Resettlement and Complementary Pathways Officer at the United Nations High Commission for Refugees here in Pretoria.